Hello everyone. So today we will be discussing about the ICAR JRF Examination 2020 of agronomy. This year the pattern of question paper has changed. This year there are 120 questions total, and the question pattern also has changed. And this year we have got statement based questions. So we'll be basically analyzing in this video about the sectional part, means the various sections of agronomy. See, we have 9 units in syllabus, and I have divided those into 12 parts. So let's talk about them. See, out of the total number of questions of 120, I have divided it into 12 parts. The first is the general agriculture. I have divided general agriculture into three. See, first is the genetics, plant breeding and crop physiology part. The other is the agricultural institutes and current affair part, and other is the statistical part. All right. So let's first of all talk about the genetics, plant breeding and crop physiology parts. There were 11 questions, all out of 120. There were 11 questions from this part only, that genetics, breeding and crop physiology. Specifically, if you talk of crop physiology part, there were questions that were based on mechanism. Alright, it was not a genetic based questions like ATP formation, and this there was not it. It was a mechanism based, means intermediate compounds from the C3 cycle, C4 cycle, and these were asked. Alright, from if you talk of principles of agronomy, a number of questions that were asked were 23. See, it has the highest coverage out of all. The maximum questions were asked from this part. See, principles of agronomy include, what I have included in this is Reddy and Reddy book plus SR Reddy book, means the chapters that are included in that, and the concept based questions. All this I have included in this part, that is principles of agronomy of both Reddy and Reddy as well as SR Reddy. We have got 23 questions of them. From the field crops part, we have got 11 questions this year. These are comparatively less as compared to last year. We have got more than 25 to 30 questions from field crops itself. From field crops, if you talk of field crops, the questions were mainly not direct questions. I must say the questions were mainly based on the minor crops. Like there were questions from millets. There was one question from cotton. Likewise, there were questions from what I must say is medicinal crops. There was a production question from medicinal crops. So basically this year they were focusing on the minor crops, and the number of questions were also reduced to just 11. Alright, now this year there was a huge increase in weed management questions. It was a major portion. If you see, there are 17 questions that were asked. Last year there were just about 7 to 8 questions that were asked from weed management part, but this year there were 17 questions that were asked from weed management itself. In weed management part, there were questions based on mostly herbicide. Alright, after that herbicide part, there were basically questions based on history, means there was a question how arrange the herbicides chronologically on the basis of their development, means in which year they were developed, and same was a question based on resistance also. So there were certain options given, and we had to arrange that based on the year in which they were developed. Also there were questions from specific, like 2,4-D was there, that which of the following form of 2,4-D is mainly absorbed. Options were like ether form, ester form or sodium form. So there were good amount of questions from weed management. So I must say that you must focus on weed management part very thoroughly. This year, very surprising that from water management there were just 7 questions, and they were very basic questions. They were not so difficult. They were very basic questions from this year, but it was very surprising because water management has a great importance in JRF as well as SRF examination. But this year we just got 7 questions from irrigation part, that means water management. One other thing that was important this year was soil fertility and fertilizer part. There were 13 questions. These are huge because generally there are about 3 to 4 questions from this part, but this year we have got 13 questions from soil fertility itself. And from fertilizer part, there were about 3 to 4 questions from fertilizer itself, and most of the questions were based on soil fertility part. So there were 13 questions in all. From dryland agronomy also we have got good amount of questions, that is 11. Generally from problem soils there are only one question that is being asked. See, last year there was one question, in previous year there was no question. This year we have got three questions from problem soils itself, means management part of problem. See, problem soils means, I mean to say that those alkaline soil, acidic soils, saline soil, sodic saline soil, means that kind of soils I am talking about. So basically there were three questions related to that. Talking about the sustainable land development part, means the last three chapters, if you talk of Reddy and Reddy part, like precision agriculture and sustainable agriculture development, sustainable agriculture, and from this part and cropping system part. So from this part there were about 6 questions. See, these are normally 6 questions are only asked. Last year also there were 7 questions only. So this part is to be kind of important also, because very easy questions are being asked from this part. Now the general agriculture part 2, this year we have got 2 questions based on institutes. Last year there were only one question. This year we've got 2 questions based on agricultural institute. And current affair part, there were 6 questions based on current affairs. See, generally students skip this part because current affair is kind of that is included in SRF examination, but there is no since there is no specific mentioning in JRF that there would be current affair questions would be asked, but they are being asked. Like this year we have got 6 questions from current affairs, means in recent what we have been talking about the various, like for example, not there were no question based on recent varieties, but current affair part was asked, like satellite based questions were more. So this kind of questions were asked this year. Now from general agriculture statistics part, see, I have only mentioned statistics. I have not included in this those numerical part that are included in statistics. For example, this we can say that experimental based questions or plot design based questions I have not included in this. From this statistics part I have included the textual portion, means t-test, f-test, those questions and other questions. From numerical part I have not included in this. So from that text part we have got 3 questions. Out of all these numericals we have got good amount of numericals this year, that is 7 numericals. The numericals were based on cropping system, cropping pattern based questions were there. Also there were numericals based on we can say that irrigation efficiency based questions were there, and there were 2 questions from statistics part related to the block designs. So overall if you have a look at it, you will see that maximum number of questions were from principles of agronomy, then followed by weed management, then surprisingly soil fertility and fertilizer we have third part, means it's the third most important topic. Then the equal importance of crop physiology, means the general agriculture part, genetics, breeding and crop physiology part, the field crops part and the problem soils. All these are included at the fourth rank, you can say. Next I am not going to rank anything because everything is clear as in front of you. See, what I mean to say is that your most priority should be first of all principles of agronomy, followed by weed management, then followed by field crops. See, though field crops number of questions are being very less this year, but you cannot say, because field crop is a kind of soul of agronomy. So if you have a very strong basics of field crops, you can easily deal with any kind of questions that may come. So you must focus on field crops very thoroughly. See, from other part, if you see like various sustainable land development, agriculture statistics part, numerical part, these are very basic things that everyone know that we have to read it. So just go brushing up things, and from the surface touch everything. Like statistics you need to touch from the surface itself. And see, in agriculture institute, these are very important thing. Every year there is a question from agriculture institute, so keep agriculture institute at your tips, specifically the Indian institutes, and focus on current affairs also. Because see, if you see the trend this year, there were 6 questions from current affair itself. Now SRF also we have a specific 20 questions in what we say current agriculture, or we can say general affair part. So it will have an influence in JRF examination also, that current affair questions would be asked, though it is not mentioned in the what we can say is syllabus, but it would be asked. So you must prepare them very thoroughly. Alright, so all the best. If you find the video useful, then share it with your friends and as well as your batchmates or your juniors or whoever you think that video would be useful. Thank you.